no nexus between the finance minister and Mithun Ramdas. It's just an offbeat remark that they made. From the veterans, we move on to people of the next gen who are making things happen across India. We have Mr. Mithun Ramdas, who is the director of Mahindra Pumps Private Limited. A man who has become part of who did his schooling in Staines High School, has been mechanical engineering from PhD Tech. He joined his family enterprise and is the director of Mahindra Pumps Private Limited and the managing director of the Evolvo Systems Private Limited. Works with various trade bodies and is the vice president of the Southern India Engineering Manufacturers Association and the board member of Co India. Mithun Ramdas firmly believes that beyond films and PowerPoints, he can make an impact with just his words, because he believes his products do the talking more than himself. So let's listen to somebody who's as young and energetic as you are and who's willing to take his brand places. Over to Mr.
It's not the real ideal situation when you're a middle speaker with the doyens of industry and they share their experience, and I'm hardly in the industry for a few years, and it's really not my place to give gyan in front of the greats. Also, I wouldn't definitely want to keep you waiting for too long from the weekend, so I'll try to make this short. And one of the reasons why I have not made a presentation today is because I'm going to tell you a story. And the hero of this story does not believe in PowerPoint presentations at all. He believes in communicating effectively. So in a small, in 1931, in a small village of Papanayakampalayam, was born the hero of the story. You can call him Chota Bheem for now, because for the people who don't know, and the younger generation is all taken over by Chota Bheem. He's a person who can fight all evils, deliver all goods. He's the ultimate hero. So for now, our Chota Bheem was born in 1931. He was born in a very, very poor family. His father was, earning just a few rupees a month. And this particular person is also, first, I would first like to begin with this. It's really weird being on this side of the, of the podium, because I've always been used to sitting on that side. I'm a alumni of PhD Tech myself from the 2008 batch. My father and uncles are also alumni of PhD Tech. My brothers are also alumni of PhD Tech. And the interesting fact here is that the hero of the story is also a PhD alumni. So we are not only 3 generations into this business, we are 3 generations in association with PhD as well. So coming back to the story, Chota Bheem studied in Sarvajana school, and his parents could only afford education till the 2nd standard. So then he discontinued studying and started working as a laborer. He continued working as a laborer for meager pay, and then got married to his loving wife. The wife was from a relatively wealthier family from the neighborhood of Pilamedu. And so one day he just, as he was working as a laborer in a foundry. So as he was working, he was just talking with his fellow workers, and then he figured that he didn't want to continue being there. He didn't want to. He wanted to do something more. He wanted to achieve something more. But he did not have the means to do that. But that did not stop him. He joined hands with his brother-in-law, that is his wife's brother. Since they were from a relatively wealthier family, he invested some money. Chota Bheem invested his time, energy and hard work. They put their heads together and started manufacturing pump spares. Not pump sets, pump spares. Because in those days, the DPFs and the whatnot, they were the pioneers of the PSG, of course, PSG, DPF, they were the pioneers of the pump industry. Nobody even thought of manufacturing a pump back then because they dominated the industry. So all that people could think of was, at least let us manufacture the spares that go into the pump. So in any case, there's going to be wear and tear, and so let's at least manufacture the spares. So that's how it started. So they bought one lathe. The size of that lathe would probably be the size of this desk. We still have that lathe in our factory, and that is the first lathe that we do puja for on Ayuda Puja. So this person, Chota Bheem, bought that second-hand lathe and started machining himself. Then this was going on for some time, and then he realized that he wanted to do more. So then while he was just talking with his partner, then they realized, okay, since we are procuring the castings from a foundry, why don't we start making the castings ourselves? So the venture number 2 was a foundry. So that was how Mahindra Foundry started. This was all prior to 1960. 1960 was when Mahindra Engineering Works at that time was established. All this is before 1960. So then it was called Mahindra Foundry, and they continued to make castings and machine those castings and supply them as spares. So then this was going on for some time, and this was enough to sustain their livelihood. But then again, this man did not stop. He wanted something more. So then he thought, anyway we are manufacturing the spares for the pumps, why don't we manufacture a pump? So that is how he started manufacturing pumps under the name of Mahindra Foundry. So the first few attempts were not very successful. As I said earlier, the pump industry was dominated by a few brands. But at that time, the demand was so high that people had to pay a premium for the pumps. So slowly, since there was a demand and supply gap, slowly they were able to establish themselves. They slowly started manufacturing from one pump a day. They used to make the castings themselves, they used to machine the castings themselves, and used to assemble the pumps themselves. This is how the first pump was produced. So from one pump a day it became 2 pumps a day, and then from 5 pumps a day, and that is how this entire this is the foundation on which Mahindra Pumps stands today. So he started manufacturing, and of course this is just a side step. We all talk about how competitive the world is today, and how we have to up our game and be extremely cost effective, and how price is such an important factor. My grandfather recently was telling me that the total cost, raw material cost, used to be 5 rupees. Cost of machining was 2 rupees. That is, cost of production was 2 rupees. So total cost is 7 rupees. But they were able to sell at 40 rupees. This was prior to 1960. So this was the kind of market that was there at that time, when there was no competition. But today we are looking at the opposite side. If a pump takes 6,000 rupees to manufacture, 6,200 is hardly what we'll be able to get out of it. So anyway, so coming back to the story, so then they started manufacturing pumps, and then they slowly started expanding. Pumps became a success, and some of the competitors were also losing out. So somehow we got established, and we started opening out new factories, expanding the foundry business as well, and year on year, and then his sons joined, and and from selling within Tamil Nadu, we started selling in Kerala, Andhra, and Karnataka. So these are very, very humble beginnings from where we started, and slowly after the sons came, they started expanding the market and started modernizing the factory. So this is where the story about the company ends. But I want to tell you a little more about this hero, Chota Bheem. This Chota Bheem is now 88 years old and still works 5 hours a day. His sons are in the business, his grandsons are in the business, but still he works 5 hours a day. This person wakes up sharp 5 o'clock, has his breakfast sharp 8 o'clock, sharp 8:30, he's in the factory. And the kind of disciplined life that he leads is probably what has got him here. You can set your watch based on what he does. The watch may be wrong, but his timing will not be wrong. It is this discipline that has been inculcated in his sons, and that's the culture of the company. This utmost discipline is what has brought us here. So without taking too much of time, this story was only to showcase that this brand of Mahindra was not built by advertising. It was not built by formalizing any kind of branding. Very similar to LMW, of course, the scale totally varies. This brand has been built merely on the trust of the millions of customers that we have, and the blind trust our employees have in the company. This is what has helped us sustain 58 years. And now, after 58 years, we can proudly say that only 3 companies have survived the test of time. And we can say that we are among the 3 companies. And we are among the very few companies that have not had one single legal case against us till date. So I just wanted to share, and of course the Chota Bheem here is my grandfather, and he has been an example, a leading example for all of us. And I thought sharing this small story would probably, spark a light somewhere. But definitely this is a man that you should talk to and learn about. If opportunity gets me there, I'd probably try to get a book written about him. Because for the small time that was given to me, I can't do justice to this person. But I've given you a bird's eye view, and I'll be happy to share more later. So as you can see, I have stuck to a very a totally different path of line that has been taken by the earlier speakers. Because if I get into talk about branding with the LMWs, the craftsmen, then there's no point in me coming here only. So thank you so much, CMA, for the opportunity. You guys are doing a great job by Entrepreneur of the Year and Brands of the Year. Really is very encouraging, and it's very nice and heartening to know that an LMW, a Craftsman and Mahindra share the same dais. Thank you very much for this opportunity, sir.